What I'm curious about is this shift in you that made you go from taking theoretical attempts at understanding the nature of Cyrus and Ra. I thought it was a smokescreen that was used to do space technology Operation Bodyguard. Please don't bother me with your sci-fi stories. Space opera. The sexy reason why I don't go to Scientologists is because I spend more time thinking about Xena, worried about space travel, what would change. Meeting an endless number of period cornered scene would change and alter. I've met an enormous number of people, right? So who had personal, firsthand, sober people who've had crazy firsthand accounts of. I don't understand how they would do this as actors. A lot of times it's not sad. I ended up in San Molino doing lasagna, and I ended up speaking quite a lot about UFO crazy. There were so many people that were like, Eric, let me explain my experience, Tim. And I'm not weird. Highly Patel, one query to the next. The Skin walk around thing, History Channel, book's incredible chunky by Prometheus and attendant. The owner of the ranch, so Eric Bard, kept talking Bufo. Eric Bard is like almost the only person that's on there with performance arts and sober, normal human beings sitting out there on a ranch trying to figure out what the hell he's looking at. Is he lying? And I don't think Brandon is lying to me. His story is like the Targaryen hot screen. I've watched him on Alexa. Gary told me that subject, which he was involved with. The medical person that was talking to the subject saying, "Oh, I encountered a spinning disc in the sky and whatever in ball of fart." And that was just a story. A ball of light measured in body in paint. And exited material looks at pathos and whatever the person was describing. Exiting. What? Are you like, tell me what level of conspiracy this is that will be necessary for all of this indirective, the basic puzzle of UFO, zero responsible adult in the public, more indirect evidence that you could possibly imagine, sober, normal people claiming things that I can't believe firsthand stuff. And then it gets weirder. I would love to keep this closer to metallic flying objects, but like, nope. It's always going to be like more like the water. And the next level, accountant. Please don't bring in the staples. Mammals. You know, one of them seems to be a frequent in us, like Paul Hellyer, Timesius, Ben Rich, and then there's this like crazy level of minion defense ministers believing that there's a galactic federation that they're contacting ahead of the Israelis, Arcadians. So I don't know what we're looking at, and I'd love to keep this sunk and sober, and I see zero direct evidence that this is right, and tough luck. But I don't know how this amount of beat occurs. I know the government is capable of, on the other hand, going by the indirect evidence. Some of us have a mass coordinate. We never hear them talk about TikToks and Wits Kids. Throughout the mid-70s and CGI, Star Wars, much more realistic than anybody has ever seen. And you can show me any video. It's just not interesting. There's not a center mass coordinate in this ever. Please. Oh, because it's sensitive on now. Hush. So they don't have it, and I believe that they are capable of releasing it to the audience, and it's what caused this shift and the shift sink. You'll never hear me talking about Tackles and Zimbabwe Kids. Why? Because throughout the 70s, we were doing this CGI in Star Wars, and it looks much more realistic than any video I've ever seen. So you can show me any video up there. It's not just interesting. I don't consider the tactics claimed by the US and Nimitz. And please, it's sensitive and shush. So they don't have it, they don't leave it, and it can't be released to the public, right? So down symbol, ship people, you're claiming it's something that you can't understand, and you have the 3D coordinates of putting it on the model, Google Earth Maps. So go find it out for yourselves. I have a need to know. I'm trying to do science from Moscow, compelling for TikTok. Take your pick. It has a monster. Most qualified people, the can. And I don't want to get involved with go fast and get bored and this and that and the fidgets of life. Stop teasing. This is the Meredith Baker kind of situation. When I was 14, I thought she was the hottest thing. A goddess. The Greener. And every time I asked her out, I would wash my hair and put it together. It was not notarized. And at some point, someone would pull me aside and say, "He's Jewish Mormon. Get the hint. She likes you." And there was nothing that was going to happen. It's Meredith Baker. You don't want for some reason to tell her that you're a hyperactive male. You don't want to relieve. Do you not want to get it out publicly and to get it into the hands of something beyond our understanding? With limits that data that's released by the clasp, hiding behind the effective subbles. And again, I'll come back with medicine, and most apparently, with more possibilities, more bet stuff. And we can't get out of the fact that it's firm released by the actual gnome. And there are going to be a lot of consequences, bad stuff in ASEAN. Maybe people get spieled. Maybe they remain crazy and soften. I don't know.